How in the hell did I miss this? I am mad that I'm like 5 days late on this. It came out 5 days ago. How did I miss this?
Every single fight, no matter how big or small, has a story behind it. That's why when it comes to Tekken and the King of Iron Fist tournament, there's one hell of a story to tell.
Yay! Yay! Twat!
In Tekken 8, Jin Kazama will face off against his father, Kazuya Mishima, for the last time. Kazuya is threatening global domination, and since Jin is the only other person who possesses the devil gene as well, he may be the only chance the world has left. But how did we even get to this point? What the hell is a devil gene? And why do these fathers and sons keep throwing each other off cliffs?
Yeah.
Well, it revolves around these three men. Heihachi Mishima, his son Kazuya Mishima, and his son Jin Kazama. When Kazuya was just 5 years old, his father, Heihachi, feared the boy possessed the devil gene, which is passed down through generations to the bearer's children. It allows the host to transform into a winged demon that possesses incredible strength and power.
Because his wife had it, right?
So, Heihachi did what any loving father would do. Threw Kazuya off this cliff to see if he would survive. And survive he did. Kazuya would spend the next 21 years training to become a deadly fighter. The hatred he harbored for his father fueling his motivations. Ultimately, Kazuya would defeat Heihachi and become the first King of Iron Fist tournament champion. And then,
throw him off the cliff.
in a moment of poetic justice,
You know how much that shocked me when I first saw it? I was like, you throw him off the cliff.
Years later, we find
And he
Kazuya
smiles.
turned even more sinister than his father was. But it brings us to the one woman who saw the potential good in Kazuya. Animal rights activist Jun Kazama.
Yeah, that I
Together,
never
they would have a
expected
child.
that they
The
got
third
together.
piece of this patricidal puzzle. Jin Kazama. Jin grew up without knowing his father. And after tragedy suddenly befell his mother, Jin sought out his grandfather and would be trained in the Mishima fighting ways by none other than Heihachi Mishima. Ever the opportunist, and knowing Jin possessed the devil gene, Heihachi would use Jin until ultimately betraying his grandson, shooting him at point-blank range in the face. However,
it didn't work.
death was not for Jin.
It did not
And
work.
what would kill any other man would trigger what had laid
Boom!
in Jin until that moment. And Devil Jin was born.
There we go.
Since then, these three men have waged war against each other time and time again.
They could have fitted the man in a better suit than what he's wearing to this.
Where Kazuya faced off against his father Heihachi for the final time by taking his life and throwing the body into a volcano, like only a Mishima can.
So it's poetic, so it rhymes.
Which brings us to now. Kazuya's complete global control is almost at hand, and his power is seemingly unchecked. However,
See his
now
legs through the
his
suit?
own battles,
Damn!
Jesus resurfaced and is focused on stopping his father to become not just the newest champion of
You gotta give me
King
some
of
legs
Fighters
like that.
tournament, but possibly the savior of all mankind too.
Reminds me of fighting
In Tekken,
The Infinity War. All of them together.
Fist meets fate.
Woo! I'm gonna have some fun playing this. I'm going to have some fun playing this. Yeah! This has got to be one of the most insane, immoral, demonic, evil stories in video games, period. Tekken was my first game that I bought for PlayStation. I felt so good about myself because I had just started a job at McDonald's and I knew the PlayStation was coming out. And my mom required rent from me, so I had to pay her a certain amount, like once a month. But I knew how many video games, I think, was it Games and Gadgets? I think Games and Gadgets was saying that you could turn in a certain amount of games for credit and you could turn in a system for credit. So I knew I was going to turn in my Super Nintendo and I turned in a few of my cartridges and I knew just how many checks I needed to have the money to get my PlayStation. And I remember taking a bus with a transfer. If you don't know that, that means you got to take like 2 buses. They drop you off here, and then you got to wait for another one to pick you up. And it took me to the mall. And I had to wait for a transfer because that day they weren't running straight to the mall. And I went up there, and I turned it all in, and I bought my PlayStation and Tekken. And I got home and I played Tekken all night long. And it was like, I loved it, man. I couldn't stop playing it. And I played, I actually initially played with Kazuya because he reminded me of Ryu. And I knew that a lot of fighting games kind of, you know, they mimic Ryu. So, you know, he had the uppercut and his was with lightning. And, you know, he even had a spinning kick. And so I was like, okay, this is probably the Ryu character. And that's who I play. So, and yes, I say Ryu. F for you. I don't like it. So, and then I started using Law, and I just fell in love with Law, man. And Law was my guy ever since. And then Kazuya was my number 2. So, you know what I mean? But yeah, see y'all when this comes out. 10 million subscribers. Woo!